All right. Hey, everyone. This is Diamond Rivera, and this is another episode of the Live Discussions with Diamond podcast. And what you just saw was an amazing demo from our special guest tonight. But before we get started, this episode is sponsored by Tubak Shot the Radio. And also, people, we are on Spotify and other streaming platforms. And here I have the honor of having, in my opinion, one of my inspirations of why I started filming the Zouk scene. From watching his musical sets at the legendary Bakshata Rosa when they had the Zouk room, and me really getting interested. It is a true honor having this gentleman on tonight, and I have the pleasure here of having from Yo Zouk NYC, the one and only Charles Espinoza.
Hey, what's good, man? Super happy for this invitation, being part of your podcast. I've actually been seeing it a lot on Facebook, man, and just want to give you congratulations on this new journey you've been taking with podcasts and interviewing artists. Super cool.
Absolutely. I mean, besides interviewing you and interviewing many other Zouk artists and different creatives, it gives me a chance here to, in a sense, give you your flowers in a way, because realizing us as artists and creatives, we travel so much, we dance so much, and everything that we get to everything that we sacrifice in return that people may not know about really goes unheard. So having this moment to kind of dig deep and be in a safe space that you don't have to worry about a performance right now. This is people understanding who you are, not just as the dancer, the creative, but really also as the human being. So for me, it's a pleasure to have you and have people maybe connect a little bit more with you. And before we even really get started with things, right now I believe you're in your hometown in
Yes.
Brazil.
So I've been here since Thursday. I'm in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I always, every year, I actually take the time to come to Brazil, and around this time, Christmas, New Year's, I like to be with
Hmm.
family and friends. So yeah, man, I'm here, and it's been a blessing. I love being here. It's a beautiful place to be.
And I mean, and it's very form fitting as well. You being a Brazilian zouk dancer, but a dancer in general. But me seeing in the last, I would say 5 to 10 years, the zouk
Hmm.
scene has really blossomed. I mean, we had those phases with salsa, and then of course bachata, and especially in New York, zouk has really become a huge thing. And like I said earlier in my introduction, you being one of the inspirations, because me seeing you, and we'll talk about it, of course. And
For
back in
sure.
Bachata Rosa had that zouk room in the
Oof.
corner, and me just watching and just seeing like, what is this? What is this space that I see all these bachata dancers just creeping in, and I realized it was really just an experience and something you're very passionate about, something you've helped promote, spread that awareness. So, of course, we'll talk about the current success, but
Mhm.
this is the time I like to really take things back, and kind of help us understand Charles. Who's Charles Espinoza before Yozook? Who's Charles
Yes.
Espinoza before the shows and the limelight? Who is Charles Espinoza?
Who is Charles Espinoza before all that? Man, so if I bring it back, I actually started uh, dancing was when I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, man, I was like, I will say like middle school, elementary school. I
Mm-hmm.
was in the band. I was the guy with the glasses, the geek.
Oh,
I played the cello. I played the baritone sax. And I was just like in school and, just, I guess a nerd. That was like the real me,
yeah.
Um, I will say that Brazil broke me out of my shell in a sense of like because I like to read, I like school, and I like playing the instruments. It wasn't like the popular thing to do.
Yeah.
But when I came to Brazil, like in Brazil, like just being here, like you go to the beach, you go outside, everyone is very aware of their bodies, of what they eat, into fitness. So in Brazil, the first once I was like 15, I actually started dancing in Brazil.
Okay.
But before that, I got into fitness. So my friends were like, "Yo, you need to take these glasses off. You need contacts." You're like, "Yo, you need to work out." And then I just started adapting to that. And then my break from being the nerd was a transition from middle school to high school. Was like walking to my high school and seeing that like, oh, okay, like now you see me with like some muscles, no
Yeah.
glasses, and everyone was like looking at me like, "Yo, who's this new kid in the school right now?" I'm like, "Yo, it's Charles, it's me." Like you that dude playing in the band and cello and all that stuff. Like, nah, that can't be you, bro. Like, and it's like, yeah, it's me.
Hmm.
I'm just different right now. So, yeah, if I could explain Charles before the dance and all that, I was a nerd into playing instruments, then got into like fitness, and from fitness, that's where dance came in.
Wow, that's interesting. But then also understanding, like you said, your history with music, because for
Yeah.
me, being a dancer for over 20 plus years in the salsa industry specifically,
Mhm.
realizing there are many dancers that can either social dance, perform, but there's still very few that have that unique understanding of musicality, because
Mm.
playing the cello, playing the baritone sax, people don't understand. People who have played instruments have a different ear to music. And then, like you said, that transition of, from the ugly duckling phases, and then fast forwarding and you growing up as a teenager, finding who you are. And like you
Uh-huh.
said, now transitioning from the fitness into dance. And like you said, dance was a part of your life. But how
Mhm.
did, and I know, of course, in Brazilian Zouk, Lambada, if I'm maybe correct, is the premiere, like that was the starting point. So help me and help us understand, how did Zook kind of come into your life?
Man, Zook came into my life. Well, if I could like kind of like, so I actually started before Zook. I was a hip hop dancer. That's what I
Yeah.
started with. Studio in Brazil. Learned from my teacher. What today is like my mentor, best friend. Um, from the years I actually did not learn Brazil in. I didn't learn Brazil in Brazil. I learned Brazilian Zouk
Yeah.
in Brazil. I saw it growing up, coming to Brazil throughout the years.
Mm.
So if I could also, wow, I'm forgetting English. Um, for my travels while I was going to like elementary, middle school, high school, every year, every summer there, I would come to Brazil and be with family and stuff and friends, and they would show me like, oh, this is this. So that's where I started dancing hip hop, and
Yeah.
then throughout the years dancing in New York, I met Jeremy Adams.
Yes, Jeremy.
Um,
Yes.
so Jeremy Adams was actually the person that connected me to Alini Cleto, which was my
Mm.
first dance partner. And if he wasn't in my life, I don't think I would be dancing Zouk right now. If I put
Wow.
that, yeah, Jeremy. I met Jeremy. We did a gig together. We danced at Madison Square Garden, and Jeremy was like, "Yo, bro, there's a salsa event happening." Um, and I forgot. I think it was like Cachet or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Yo, Jeremy, you know, like I was in like rehearsal clothes, like sweatpants, baggy shirt. I'm like, bro, I can't go to salsa looking like this. I don't even know how to dance salsa." He's
Yeah.
like, no, 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 just come through, bro. You're gonna see it. You know, you might learn something. And I have a friend from Brazil that's coming in today, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. But yo, Jeremy, I'm not going, bro. Look at me. And he's like, bro, I'll go home right now on my bike, get you clothes, and you're gonna go. And I'm
Wow.
like, bro, if you go home and get me clothes, I'll go. And I waited, and he actually came back with clothes, and I was like, damn, bro, like there's no way I can say no now.
Yep.
So all right, let's go. So we go, and I go into this club, and I see everyone dancing, instruments being played, and I'm like, oh, like this is not like my normal place to go to.
Mm-hmm.
So I sit and I'm watching Jeremy dance, and then Alini Clato comes in, and she introduces herself. I'm like, hey, what's up? And we start speaking Portuguese. They do a demo together, and I'm like, wow, that was crazy. Like they danced
Yeah.
Zouk at the salsa event. Fast forward, started talking to her after she ended the demo. We got to get to know each other. I showed her a little bit what I do. She showed me a little bit what she does. And literally, we were like, you know what? Like, what are you doing tomorrow? She's like, you
Mm.
know, I just came from Brazil today, so I'm free. Like, you want to do something? Like, I do in individual dances. Like, I dance solo.
Yeah.
You dance partnering. Do you want to teach me what you know, and I'll teach you what I know? Like, do you want to just train tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
And after that day, we didn't stop training for about 6 years together.
Wow. So I mean, big ups to Jeremy Adam. I believe you're talking about Jeremy Adam Ray, correct?
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. And I believe right now he's doing big things in California with his
Yes,
acting career.
man.
So
I see that.
you see how the
Congrats to
world
him.
works, and realizing again, big ups to Jeremy, because like you said, if it wasn't for him at that moment kind of pushing you and putting you in that position, you really don't know where things may have landed, you know.
Very true.
And so now understanding, now you working with her, and of course you're progressing, you're getting to a point that you're comfortable. How long did you feel, I know, and I ask many dancers this and they tell me I'm still learning, but of course from your perspective, when did you notice that you were really getting the hang of this new art that you were learning?
Man, so it was very rough for me in the beginning because I did like partner dances in Brazil, like forró, which is another like traditional partner dancing here in
Mm,
Brazil. Um, and a little bit of samba, but I never took it very serious.
yeah.
And when Alini and I got into the studio and she started teaching me, um, she knows a lot of like when it comes to like Brazilian partner dancing, she had a lot of information,
Yeah.
and I was like still kind of like I never had to worry about somebody dancing. It was just, oh, I'm dancing, like we're doing choreography, boom, we're doing
Mm-hmm.
freestyle, boom, I could do that. But then now I'm like in a place where I need to worry about you, how you step, if we're in the rhythm,
Yeah.
that the sensation is good. So all these like new things. Um damn, and I can say also like many artists, like it's still learning today, but it took me a good year to feel comfortable,
Yeah.
but it was also because we were we were both hungry at the same time. Like our hunger was crazy. Not to say that our hunger
Mm.
is not the same now, but we would dedicate we would go in the studio during the daytime and we would come out of the studio at night
And,
and that would be every day. It would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, Saturday, Sunday, and then it repeat and repeat. And it was just like we just enjoyed learning from each other so much. Like she had
mm-hmm.
so much that I didn't know, and I had so much that she didn't know that we looked forward in seeing each other every day to do this training of different dances and even
Yeah.
conditioning. Like we were like, you know what, let's start working out together. We were just two machines, and we were like, to me till this day, we were meant to meet each other at that moment, and we were both our like agendas were free
Yeah.
at the same moment too. It was meant to be
Yeah.
for us to meet at that point. So it was really cool. Very cool.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, like I say here on this podcast, it makes sense. Everything really
Mhm.
makes sense there. So now, a question I have for you: you being originally from Brazil, seeing that art form of Zouk or Brazilian Zouk from the basically the motherland of really where it all started, and then of course your travels now to New York, and
Mhm.
realizing too, just like Bachata has kind of migrated, of course, from Dominican Republic and gone global, the same I believe can be said for Zouk. And you've seen so many different styles, so many different ways, so many different artists now popping up over the years. But the question I have for you is, when did you notice that Zouk started to really grow, just from your point of view of, from your first beginnings, so kind of understanding, oh man, this is becoming a thing where I am.
It was wow. Okay, so man, I can say that even when I started, Zouk was already a thing in New
Okay.
York. Um, but I could only say like a personal experience in the sense of one thing happened for me and it just went straight up. Like it
Mm.
was after it wasn't the very first performance we did, but our first choreography we did together. We did it in Miami, and it was one of my first congresses that I've ever been to, taught at. Um, After that performance, you want to look at your video on Facebook to see
Yeah.
like, oh, you want to see yourself how you did, and it was some crazy where we looked at Facebook right after we performed, like getting ready to go to social dance after our performance. Like we took a shower and stuff, get ready, and then we're like looking at Facebook, look at our video, and I was like, "Yo, Lini, you saw this video on Facebook of us?" She's like, "No, let me see," and it was like 1 million views.
Oh wow.
And I was like, "Yo, Lini, like, is this like, do you get views like this all the time? Like, or is normal?" She's like, "No, I don't know what's going on." And then like every day that video kept going up another million, and it went up to like 70 million.
Wow.
And after that, I just felt like so many people started messaging us to like travel around the world to teach Zouk. It was like, do you want to come to Dubai? Do you want to come to Australia? Do you
Mm.
want to come to Europe? Do you want to travel? Like, I didn't even travel the US completely. I probably traveled more around Europe in the beginning of my Zouk journey than in the US.
Gosh. Well, I mean, and that happens a lot of, especially with us in the States. A lot of times when you hit, it's the overseas crowd that really receives it, because a lot of times in the
Sorry.
States it can, oh, it's all good. In the States maybe one thing, but I've really seen a lot from also experience of that European hospitality, that love and wanting to soak up as much knowledge from your teachings. I definitely see that a lot.
Yeah, but and then and we were super grateful, you know what I mean? To this day I'm super grateful wherever I go. But at that moment it was like super new. I was just, to be real with you, Diamond, to be very honest with you,
Yeah.
when I walked into I didn't know what a congress was, or like any kind of event, like a big event.
Mm-hmm.
Um and I remember when she had first asked me, like, "Oh, do you?" After that video, we got asked to like teach how many congresses or whatever, and then we went to a congress in the states in LA, and I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And I walked in a room and I'm seeing like 300 people in a room, like, yo, this is normal. Like, what is going on? Like, I didn't even know how to act at the moment, you know. But um, bro, it was just very fast. Like everything happened super fast, but definitely because of the amount of training we were putting in, like every day, you could really see the result from it.
Absolutely. So, a question I have for you now is, over the years you progressed, and even to that point of having this one video seemingly go viral, and that really pushing your career forward. And, kind of looking back now on those years until currently, how, like, what have been some of the biggest lessons that you've learned?
Wow. Okay, biggest lessons. Man, biggest lessons that I've learned. Okay, so this is more of like a personal thing and that involves culture.
Mm-hmm.
So I was raised in the US,
Yes.
and in comparison to Brazil, people in the US are very more reserved, right? Like there's this thing called uh, spatial awareness. Like
Yeah.
there's no spatial awareness in Brazil. Like you don't know somebody, they're gonna hug you. Yo, what's up, man? Like, yo,
Yeah.
how you doing?
Oh,
And
wow.
in the U.S., people are like, whoa, whoa, wait.
Mm.
There's this is my space, and I don't feel comfortable. Like that doesn't exist. So there was that in this, and then mixed with also, I can say I was very like, uh, what's the word? I'm sorry. It's just
No, no, no
I've been
worries.
speaking a lot of Portuguese right now, and
Hey,
it's just and it's weird right now that I'm trying to. It's weird that I'm forgetting words. Um, it's not. Wow, what's the word when like when you're by yourself a lot, that you
introverted.
introverted. There you go, that one. So I was very introverted, and I felt like America made me very introverted. So
Mm.
I would get very awkward with big groups of people in the sense of like, yo, like I'm not extroverted at all. Like I don't know if I could deal with all these people. So
Wow.
I learned throughout the years to be more extroverted and feel comfortable being with a lot of people. If
Mm.
that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense because Charles, it was interesting what you just said was about the introverted aspect because I think that's also what's something that people who love your work and have seen you over the years, they see an image of this performer who's flashy and has all of these moves and the technique is unique, but then understanding the person behind the stage may not like all the glitz and glamour, but has a role they fit, and then
Mhm.
after that that performance, they're back to reality. And a lot of the dancers I've met that I've interviewed on here, over 100, I can say, have said the exact same thing of actually admitting they're more introverted than extroverted. Many of them may not even like going to social dances and big congress events. They may love to perform and maybe do a class, but
Mhm.
I think too that's what helps, especially with this platform, helping people understand that the people you love seeing in these videos that go viral, or these classes you love taking, these privates you love doing, they're human beings. They go through their own struggles. They go through their own demons. They have their own personalities. So, hearing
True.
that really shows the humane side because, hey, I mean, I see a video from you, a Fuego video, and I'm like, wow,
Oh yeah.
he must be just out of there and just does everything. But hearing that, It makes
Hmm.
sense because, kind of side note, again, my introduction to you was New York's Bachata Rosa with
Hmm.
Dor Kalmar and that team essentially creating a subsection for Zouk. And for me, that was my introduction when it would be yourself, it would be DJ Vicious, it would be DJ Power in that back, and just mixing music. And I remember that I would go in there coming from, I had my camera in my hand, but not even wanting to film because I just wanted to enjoy the experience because I had to understand this is a different atmosphere and that's for me as a dancer. I had to just, instead of act, I had to listen, I had to watch
Hmm.
because I realized not everybody likes the light. The intimacy is different. There's a permission that you have to have beforehand that many people don't realize. And for me as a dancer, I would just go in that room and just be in awe and just be like, wow, these people can have the lights down low, can just be in an experience of one other person for God knows how many minutes or how many hours, but seeing joy,
Yeah.
seeing happiness. So, my question to you is, how does it feel really seeing, especially in New York, how big the Zouk scene has gotten over the years?
Oh wow, man. The Zouk scene has grown so much in New York. For yeah, it's from the beginning. Um, I will say, like, if I'm very honest, like New York goes through like phases, all right? Like we
Yes.
have this amount of people, but the people, let's say that sometimes move or go somewhere else, we always get like somebody new to take that spot. Not in the sense of not in the sense of that person, but in the sense of the amount of people in the community, and that once they enter, they're like, wow, like I don't want to leave this. I want to continue being part of this community and grow and take classes, social dance, do everything, you know. So we have a consistency of people, but I will say because of the pandemic,
Yeah.
it kind of shook up everybody's community in a
Yeah.
sense, right?
Absolutely.
But I think right now Zouk is still growing in New York, and with everything happening in the world right now, I think slowly right now we're growing back again. Like Zouk is
Yeah.
like everything else, but Zouk particularly is definitely coming back to what it used to be.
Absolutely. I mean, and for me, that's a prime example of working with companies like Zenzook. Me, myself, now as a videographer, really immersing myself into the Zouk culture, the Zouk scene, because in my opinion, it's totally different than bachata and salsa. The
Mhm.
atmosphere, the ambiance, the music, the lighting, everything that it entails. And for me now, wanting to learn, and it's people like you and others that were just very humble and inviting. Even when you didn't know it, it was more of that calmness. That was the inviting part because I think too people realize certain dance styles or dance environments can sometimes be intimidating. But that's for me realizing, and I'm going to be honest with Zook, I never felt an intimidation factor. I wasn't intimidated by someone and their social dance with someone with all this connection and all these turns. I was just more in awe and
Mhm.
admiration because this was truly the example of poetry in motion. And, seeing people like yourself that have excelled and honestly have become the faces of Zouk, in my opinion, especially on the East Coast, and the work you've been able to do outside of that, it's a true testament to your hard work. I mean, and like you said, this is through the pandemic, the scene, the dance world as a whole, the community has changed. There's an influx of people coming in, just like those who are kind of backtracking and going in through new phases of their life. For me, seeing the Zouk scene now, I love where it's headed. I love right now the people that are the key players and really helping spread the educational part of it instead of just the sensational, all right, let's do these turns and you see how it goes. But, for
Yeah.
me, I really love the genuine atmosphere that I'm seeing within the Zoo community. But at least before we get into our last segment that I have called the randoms, Charles, and you kind of touched on it. You said the pandemic, and realizing now, we're coming somewhat back to some type of normalcy. But my question to you really is, looking back on everything now, what do you look forward to for 2022, 2023, and beyond for yourself and your career?
Okay, wow. Okay. So, I will say now that I see a green light coming
Mm.
closer to everybody and every, the world and the dance communities, especially also Zouk. Um, so recently, I started teaching again with one of my first students. Her name is Harazi.
Hmm.
Hada, she's been dancing for about 3 years. She's been super hard, dedicated. So starting next year, I want to start teaching classes with her in New York. So I'll be teaching classes, posting up soon. Um, Also traveling. I did a lot of different travels this year to more bachata, salsa, kizomba events
Hmm.
that include Zouk. So I'm looking forward to getting to know more events uh, in that world. Also with Zouk events as well, but definitely events that I've never been to, so I can um, teach people that have never learned about Zouk or inspire people to want to learn Zouk.
Mm.
And then lastly, I will say I was planning a Congress right when the pandemic hit. So now I'm in the middle of organizing a Congress now. I'm just seeing how things are unfolding with the
Yeah,
world so I can have the green light to do something without anything stopping the actual events from happening. So those are a few
absolutely.
things I'm looking forward for.
Absolutely, and I'm definitely excited for that. I'm really excited to see you coming back, of course, safely. But I know for a fact you'll get an amazing reception. But I think now it helps us transition to our last segment called the randoms, where I present some questions here that may deal with dance, may deal with life, and may deal with it all. So Charles, all I need to know is when you are ready.
I am ready, Diamond. Let's
All
get it.
right, number one, pan de queijo or
Oh,
capirinha?
oof, caipirinha.
Ah, think I didn't know about
I did not
that.
expect you to ask me that first question. I was like, wait, he's gonna be so
But
professional person right now.
I know. Number two, give me one of your favorite dancing cities from the States. And I ask this question because I've had people that are diehard New Yorkers, but their favorite dancing city is not even in New York. But from your perspective, what's been one of your favorite dancing cities to come to?
It would have to be out of the states if I'm very honest.
Hmm.
Well, I will. It can be out of the states or
No,
no?
it can be out of the States. That's not a problem at all.
Oh, I'm gonna be very biased. Then Brazil.
Okay.
Brazil. I tell this to everybody. Like, if you want to feel Brazilian Zouk, you have to come to Brazil at least once to really truly understand what it means to the country and then what it means to you.
Mm. I love it. I love it. All right. Next question is if you could describe your style of zouk, because I have some dancers that tell me they do urban zouk, ghetto zouk, lamba zouk, it all. So kind of give me an understanding, if you may, of what would you consider. Somebody was to say, describe your style of zouk.
I would say, if I could put it in a description, I'm gonna have my dog help me out here.
Awesome.
If I could have it in a description, I've been doing zouk. I've been dancing urban dances, hip hop, for about 15, um, freestyle and choreo, and then zouk for about 7. And when Alini and I started really like traveling, working together, we decided together to describe our dance as urban zouk. So I'm still gonna consider it our urban zouk.
Okay, I love it. I love it. All right, perfect. All
Yeah.
right, next question is I may already know the answer, but if you could be at one dance event right now, what would it be?
One dance event right now.
It could be
You
from
know,
years past, it could be something towards the future or present. Where would you be right now?
wow. I will say, Hold on, that's a hard one. There's a lot of good ones. Oof, oof. Oh no, I got you. I got you. I got you. Zukamex.
Yes.
Zukamex, man, super dope. Parties everywhere in Mexico. The first time I ever danced in a cave, uh, inside a temple. It's wherever you can imagine in Mexico. I probably had a party from Zukamex that I went to and had an incredible time.
Awesome. Zukamex it is. All right. Next
Zukamex.
question is, if you could be at your favorite event right now, case in point, Zukamex, you could dance with one person, who would it be?
That's a hard one, man.
I know it
My
gets a
thoughts
little
on these
bit.
questions to get harder by towards the end. If I'm gonna be 100% with you, Diamond, like if I if I was 100% with you, I would say just because I haven't danced with her in years,
Yes.
I would say
Okay.
Alini,
Hey,
but
who says it won't happen? So I mean, this may be down the line. So I'm definitely excited to see that.
yeah.
And so next question for you, Charles. Let's kind of step away from Zook, and I want you to answer me this: if Charles is not dancing, he is doing blank.
Depending where I'm at, like right now, I'm thinking about just
Yes.
going to the beach
There
every
you
day.
go.
Like,
Oh
brother,
yeah, you're getting that tan. That's the tan.
the camera you can't really tell with
Oh
the camera laps out.
yeah.
But wow, like my skin is hurting. That's let's say that is
All
really
right.
hurting right now.
Oh
So
man.
the
All right.
beach.
Next question is, if you have a friend of yours coming to Brazil and they say, once I come off the plane, what's the first place you're gonna take them to?
Oof, the first place I'm gonna take him to is a real churrascaria.
And what is that?
So it's like just like a real Brazilian barbecue.
Oh, is it with the green
Yeah,
light, red light? Yes, yes, the
yeah, the
churrasco.
rodizio.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So like, man, that's I mean, that's what I did when I first came. And then like anybody that loves meat,
Yeah.
boy, was like churrasco is like definitely the first thing.
Okay. All right. All right, I like that. I like that. If we're gonna go into the meat now, let's see
Mm,
if you really know your meats right now. So,
okay.
give me your favorite cut of meat while in Brazil. We got
Picanha,
picanhas. We got
picanha, 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 medium.
Oh yes, you know your meats, my friend. You
Yeah,
know,
man.
man. See, I love it. I love it. I can see the joy just coming
Brother,
out of you.
what?
But I mean, all right. So let me ask you this then. Number 8 goes like this: in New York City, if you could be at one Zook event right now, what would it be?
Shh, pipa. Sorry. When's a good? Sorry, you say repeat that one more time.
If you were in New York right now, and of
Mm-hmm.
course, New York has had so many events throughout the
Mm.
years, what is one Zook event you would be at right now?
Okay, so an event that happens every year, not an event that happens every week.
It could be any event.
Man, I mean, that still exists or that doesn't exist.
It could exist or not.
Man, I'm not gonna lie to you, Diamond. Like, I miss Rosa so much, bro. Like,
Yeah.
yo, like I got so low key depressed, sad once like I heard about stepping out studios, knowing that they have a new location, but just like the location they had and just
Yeah.
the different dances that it offered every Friday was great. Like I know it was bachata and mainly zouk, but it was just like the perfect mix. It's like
Yeah.
people that want to learn how to do body isolations or want to learn a different point of view of what they're doing with bachata in zouk. It was just you were just bouncing there. You had the classes for bachata, you had the class for zouk, you had the social for zouk, it was just a perfect mix, man. So bachata,
Mhm.
Rosa, 100%.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Number 9 goes like this. Charles, when you're maybe in a new phase in your life later down the road, how would you like to be remembered?
Diamond with the interesting questions. Okay. Man, I want to be remembered as the solo dancer who really created the this fusion of urban dances with Zouk, that really took the time to study urban dances, really took
Yeah.
the time to study Brazilian Zouk, and really understood the mix and what that really means.
I love it. I love that. And it's interesting that you say that because I noticed in that video with you and Sarah Perez, a little capoeira there at the end, you know? So,
Yeah.
see, I see the fusion as we speak. So, I mean, I definitely agree. You being so unique, having your own fusion style, and also too, I'm not gonna lie, just seeing images of that while I'm at Zouk events and just seeing the growth of it, because we understand with dance and with time, evolution always continues. There's always going to be an evolution of dance. So, just seeing the influx of new dancers, I'm happy to see where the community is going. But now it leads us to my last question. And I love this one because the answers are just endless. So it goes like this: you're in your favorite, you know what? You're going to be in Brazil, but you're stuck on an island without a phone, but you can only have three things with you. What would they be?
Three things. What make three things? Can it be people?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's make some. Damn, it's hard. An island. Okay. I will say that the first like person I would have with me would be my mentor. His name is Bio Hayes. Um, if not just for the dance aspect, but more
Mm-hmm.
also as he was my like mentor when I was 15
Yeah.
till now. It's like from mentor he became my brother. So having my brother next to me would be very dope in the island, to enjoy the island. Um, Damn, what else? Man, I can't live without food, man. Can't be in an island without food, man. So maybe some slices of picanha would be nice. You know what I'm saying? Like I got some wood, got some fire. And what else? Things. Um, got my friend, my boy. I got food. What else I need? Um, do people see a lot of things in this question?
Oh yeah, trust me. I've heard it all. I've heard everything but food. I've heard a record player, but there's no electricity. I've heard it all. Yeah, I've heard a makeshift boat. So I mean, hey, your questions definitely aren't crazy.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I find my questions very easy or simple. Damn man, oh boy, I got food. What else I need? Um, Man,
Something to make
I guess.
fire, maybe.
Okay, so it's one of those things. Okay, yeah, like definitely like a portable stove.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go,
A
portable
portable
stove.
stove with some solar panels on it, or something.
That's it, man. I'm surviving with my boy, and we're gonna make the best out of it in this
Absolutely,
island.
man. But Charles, thank you so much for doing this segment. I love doing it because it just brings some levity to really the conversation overall. But now it helps us transition to the closing of our talk tonight. And honestly, having you on really was so beneficial, so like humbling because again, like I said, you being one of the initial inspirations for me wanting to pursue filming within the Zoot community and myself being able to create some of the most like just special pieces that I've created in the past 5 years. What the Zoot dancers in the community have meant to me thus far, and also seeing your growth and your trajectory, it really everything just comes full circle. And I'm thankful that the New York community, but the dance world as a whole, has a person like yourself that is pushing those boundaries and helping a new generation evolve. And it's really been a pleasure having you here tonight. But before we finish, I'd love to know if you had any last few words for myself and the audience and any contact info on how people can reach you.
Yeah, man. So Instagram is Charles L. Espinoza. Um, Facebook as well. I'm pretty quick at responding right now. I'm actually trying not to be so. I'm not trying to be so much on my phone. Really,
Mm-hmm.
every time one thing I will say is I come to Brazil every year, and I come to Brazil to see my family, to see my friends, but also to train. So I believe being in Brazil, training, learning, is something super important to me and my journey, and to give back to everyone back at home.
Mm.
I feel like I'm evolving every time I do that, and I feel like I'm always able to bring new material back to the people I want to learn and keep growing. Um, yeah. Other than that, yeah, Instagram is Charles Espinoza. Facebook, I also have YouTube, which is the same Charles Espinoza. I don't believe it has the L, but you can find all the content in the sense of me dancing hip hop, me dancing Brazilian funk.
Mm.
I put a lot of reels. Now very heavy on Instagram with reels, so I'm putting like daily 2 to 3 posts. If you want to check out all of what's going on in Brazil,
Yeah.
I've been to like some these last couple of days. I've been doing a lot of touristy things, checking out some exotic fruits, to going to Pão de Açúcar, which is the
Mm-hmm.
mountain here in Brazil, very famous. Going to beautiful beaches. If anyone wants to check that out, I'm posting that on my stories every day.
Man, that's awesome right there. You get to really show people your experience, and
Exactly.
honestly, Charles, I thank you for your time. You're in an amazing area right now, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and like so many dancers that we know from the states are coming there to train. And honestly, myself, one day I hope to go over there,
You
film
have to,
the
man. You
amazing
have to, man.
dancers. Absolutely, man. But I thank you again for your time. I thank everyone that's tuned in that will be listening. It's been another special episode of the live discussions with Diamond Podcast. Here with the one and only Charles Espinosa, all the way out of Brazil right now. So thank you guys for tuning in. Stay safe, and we will